Today on a very serious episode of PTL, we present the prestigious LCS Coach of the Split Awards, go in depth to analyze the quarterfinal round of the League Championship Series, and have absolutely no fun because the postseason is serial business. Deficio, stop dogging around, because Primetime League starts right now!
15,000 gold lead at 27 minutes in. This is a show lacking outlet.
恭喜 TBA 2-0闪电狼，这场好精彩哦！
Hello and welcome to this very serious edition of Primetime League. It's playoff style. I'm Bivington Risen III. He's Tavid Freak Durley, and this is Playoff Anti-Beard. I'm a trendsetter, not a follower, baby. What?
Wow, that is the most awesome intro I've ever heard from you, Riv. Keep it up.
And while we get set for the LCS quarterfinals, I guess technically the LCS postseason kicked off last week for the 2016 European Summer Promotion Tournament. You better been watching. Well, all three of the LCS Spring Split participants, Splice, Roccat, and the Giants, qualified for the second half of the season. Some had a more difficult road than others. Pepinero and his Giants had to play 3 best-of-5s to win their way back in. That's about 7 weeks of LCS matches in just 4 days.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they won 2 of the best-of-5s. They actually managed to lose one themselves, but they played so much League to get back in. It was a tough one for them. As far as minutes played, 81% as long as the Spring Split was in the first place. And, of course, because they're playing worse teams, bottom LCS teams, plus some challenger teams, they got a whole lot more wins, 8 compared to 3, lots more kills, lots more everything. I mean, look, Giants are still trying to get better. I think they are better than they were in the Spring Split, but, okay, you beat some challenger teams, you lost some LCS teams.
Yeah.
That's how good they are.
They have to do leaps and bounds now, or teams are, again, going to be able to take advantage of the mistakes, and they're going to fall to the same spot.
We might see them in 10th again if they don't improve.
Right. And while Giants had a crazy, hard-fought weekend of games over in the LMS, they kicked off last week with a crazy ending to Game 1 between Hong Kong Esports and Midnight Sun.
就在就此一举了，来看一下凯文要如何来防守。结果被暴走头炸开，根本护不到。这边顶了一下都打 BQ 连弹 ，HK 攻破了2座的主堡防御塔，而且牛也要倒下了。哇，一波团战直接GG，哇 ！Oh my god！ 大家爆炸了！哦，我的天哪！ What?
Yeah, so I think that goes to show you that greeting for kills will lose you games, by the way. If they hadn't stopped to kill Alistair, they would have killed the Nexus in time. So, whoops, kills lose games sometimes, everybody.
Ridiculous.
I know. But the funny thing is that loss actually ultimately kept Hong Kong Esports out of the playoffs. If they had won the series, as opposed to just tying the series because they won the next game, they would have just been in the top spot. But they had a tiebreak, which they then lost, and so that means they're out of the playoffs.
It's such a... Oh, they're going to remember that for days to come. Years, even, it's going to hurt. All right, now let's lane swap from that amazing in-game LMS call to the best in-game LCS soundbites. You know what it is. It's time for the latest edition of Mic Check.
Guys, be a bit alive. Come on.
Yeah.
We're playing League of Legends, man.
Oh no, the colors, they're distracting me.
Welcome to the LCS.
If you have money, don't just not buy a ward. 75 gold. Get the goddamn wards, everyone. Pink wards every back.
Yeah, go Nexus, please.
Why not kill? We can kill them.
Nexus, please. Don't do the same shit that I did. Listen to the sound of my voice.
There is no sound to listen to, by the way.
I like that lock-in. It shows confidence.
Enemy, many.
Guyen, Nasor. Nasor.
No, don't end it.
What I do inside the Nasor?
Yeah.
Please. Nasor. I got it.
Astral.
Kite back.
Okay.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Not
Kill front. That's good.
I pull him off.
Dead, I'm dead.
GG.
We lost.
Why there? Why? Enemy many.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, guys, there's nothing much to say besides be calm, be intelligent. Don't get overexcited because we're 2-0.
You wanna go Clown Fiesta?
Yeah, we're going full Scrim Clown Fiesta.
Kai back.
I'm behind them now, I'm behind them. We win the fight.
Slow. Kai back, Silver.
Gragas.
Alice after.
No damage.
GG.
Man, I love Mike Check. Welcome to Berlin, Germany, where I am happy to be joined by G2's amazing coach, Youngbuck. How are you doing? And welcome to PTL.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. And there is some real reasons why we've brought you here. It is, of course, to present you with the 2016 European League Championship Series Award for Coach of the Spring Split. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You do get to keep that award. It is all for you. And I want to talk about your role as coach of G2. What was it like transitioning from player to coach?
In a lot of areas, it was pretty simple, like doing drafts and working on level 1s and just finding improvements in the team because I was used to that as the team captain for the Wolves. The hard part was becoming a parent figure for the team because I'm the only one living with the guys. So I have to do groceries for them, do the cooking just to make their lives a little bit easier, and that was the hard part.
Well, it seems to be working because first in the regular season, I mean, was first a realistic expectation? I mean, you guys had roster swaps even after you qualified for LCS.
So when I saw the lineup on paper, I was like, this could be a rank 5, rank 6 team. But when we started practicing, I was like, okay, we have something special in our hands here. There might be more to it, just the 5th or 6th place.
And it ended up working out that way. One last question. Now, what was one of your favorite memories or favorite moments from the Spring Split with G2?
I think playing Fatality in week 8. We had lost to them in week 5, and they had gotten the better of us in practice. And there was just so much at stake because we knew that the winner was going to be top 2. And so when we won that match, it was just such a lot of pressure off of our shoulders, and everyone was so happy about that win.
Well, it definitely showed on all the player cams, and it was a pleasure to watch that game as well. So once again, congratulations on being named the 2016 European LCS Coach of the Split. We're done with all of the serious business. I think it's time to get down to the real questions. Did you know you've signed up for 1v1 me, bro?
I know.
Well, I think it's about time to do it. All right, welcome to 1v1 me, bro. Youngbuck, if Perks didn't explain to you how it works, you're going to have 90 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. And the more questions you get right, the higher up you're going to go up that leaderboard. When you don't know an answer, you can just say pass. Perks had to pass a whole lot.
I'm not going to pass, Trevor. I'm just going to score.
Not going to pass, just going to score. So the list of questions is quite long, and you're going up against Vitality's Kasing. He's the league board leader at 12 points. Are you ready to take back the 1v1 me bro title for G2 Esports?
Absolutely ready.
All right, absolutely ready. I've got my questions ready. I hope I can count correctly. Let's start this one off. Give me the timer in 3, 2, 1. Was the moon landing fake?
Yes.
Wow, you got that one right. Who is the best player on G2?
Me.
Okay, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Who is the trolliest player on G2?
Perks.
Yes, that's also true. Are you a better LoL coach or better LoL player?
Coach.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I've seen the records.
Thank you.
What do you call a group of wolves?
A pack.
Good. What do you call a group of pro players?
A team.
Nice! That was a trick question. You got it. What percentage of the Netherlands landmass was reclaimed from lakes and the sea?
17%.
How on earth do you know that one, Youngbuck? We'll never know. Who is the current king of the Netherlands?
Willem-Alexander.
Okay, and what is the oldest national anthem in the world? It just happens to be from the Netherlands. What is it called?
Wilhelmus.
Wilhelmus, okay. There's a lot of Wilhelm in this one. What does dominus mean in Latin?
Dominant.
No, it is master. Incorrect. And stick with a Renekton question. What is the range of slice and dice?
450.
Okay, what is the range of each one individually?
225.
Okay, that was easy. I shouldn't have asked that one. You still got it right. What does Renekton say when you lock him in?
I don't know.
As I live, all will die. Unfortunately, got that one wrong. Adele, Rihanna, or Selena Gomez?
Adele.
Okay, I'm not going to ask why. Who is the best player in the history of the Copenhagen Wolves? One time. Bjergsen, great answer on the buzzer. We will accept that one. I'm going to tally up the score. 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I get production to confirm? Is that really 13? 13 correct answers. League leader for 1v1 me, bro. That means you are on top of the table. It was that last question, Bjergsen. He carried you back then. He's carrying you now.
Well, he wasn't on my team.
Okay, well, fair enough. Then there we go. 1v1 me. He gets the points. I do not get them. Thank you so much for joining us, Young Buck. You're going to be able to watch him and his league-leading G2 esports in 2 Saturdays from now, where they will face off against the lowest remaining playoff seed. Congratulations, you nailed it.
Thank you very much. Hey everyone, it's time for that part of the show where I ask you questions about League of Legends and you almost always get it wrong, except for last week, so thank you so much for getting it right. Now, we asked you which 3 teams in the European LCS would get spots in the EU LCS for the next split. And for the chance at the Hall of Fame, you had to tell us which player would have the highest KDA among the players competing. Well, turns out the 3 teams that were already in the LCS kept their spot, so congrats to the 17 of you that guessed that Giants and Rocket and Splice will keep their spots. Awesome job for all those guys. And of course, the highest KDA player was the Rocket mid laner, Betsy, at 9.8. So that's the Hall of Fame answer. And let's see, well, many of you got that right. Again, with returning teams, 17 of you guessed which teams would be those. So congratulations, your names are scrolling, and we are unbelievably proud of you for guessing the most common result to the tournament. But good job to the 17 who did it. And again, 3 of you got the question right for who is going to have the highest KDA. Betsy, again, the mid laner for Rocket was that man. So huge congrats to you guys for joining into the Hall of Fame. Hopefully one day I will join you, and hopefully that day is next Wednesday. Let's talk about next week's question. Before we get into that question, though, got to give you guys a little bit of backstory about this match. It's about TSM versus Cloud9. It's an awesome sort of matchup. These guys have fought in the finals 4 times in the North American LCS playoffs. C9's won 2 of them. TSM's won 2 of them. Well, guess what? They're meeting in the quarters now because C9 got 3rds, TSM got 6th in the regular season, so now they're battling quite a bit early. So the question is, who's going to win? It's a best of 5. Pick one of the teams. Coin flip. C9, TSM, who's it going to be? But the hard part is the Hall of Fame question. Hall of Fame question is, what's going to be the average first blood time in that series within 5 seconds? I'm going to say 6 minutes flat. Hopefully I'm right. I would love it if I were. Hopefully you guys are right as well. We can all say 6 minutes. We can all get in the Hall of Fame. Good luck, everybody. But that's going to be the question for that one. Who's going to win and how fast are the first one's going to be on average in the series? Now, tweet those to @LPLEsports, use the hashtag PTL, and send them in before the start of Fnatic versus Vitality, before the European series on Saturday. Send them in. Maybe you'll get it right. Good luck.
Hey everyone, it is time for a special postseason edition of Death Timers, which means the only 2 North American casters who have actually won a Death Timers have to fight someone other than Freak. So at least it's a bit of a challenge. Anyway, because it's the playoffs, we have 2 changes. First, we're going to debate both of the North American quarterfinals matches. And second, we're only going to get 30 seconds instead of 45 to prove which one of us is better at arguing. So let's start with the best of 5 between Cloud9 and TSM. And Kobe, would you like to argue for TSM?
Huh? Oh, I'll let TSM Jet take TSM.
Thank you very much. That's
nice.
natural.
I'll
for
take
me.
Cloud9 then.
Okay, you get to do the favorite. Congratulations. Anyway, I'll count you in. You have 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Cloud9, they have higher KDAs at every single position. Top, mid, jungle, bottom. And they also have the 2nd highest early game gold leads of any team in North American LCS. Now, this plays into their skirmish style, where they play around Rush and Jensen's mechanical abilities, and this is the perfect thing to highlight TSM's current weakness in their lack of coordination between their team members. TSM have lost a number of games, messing up team fights later in the game. Cloud9 can highlight this, forcing TSM into high-pressure decisions that they have to make between objectives and between...
Between objectives and between something else. There's no way of knowing.
Wow, 30 seconds is so short!
You gotta get quick with this, man. Okay, so I'll do TSM. You count me in so I don't cheat and start it.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Of course TSM's going to win. They've been to every single North American finals, dude. History repeats itself. Also, TSM has a lot of talent. They actually win lanes. Bjergsen and Doubled have the highest CS differential at 10 of both mid laners and bottom laners in all of the North American LCS.
CS doesn't win games.
That's a stat you're not allowed to talk. KDA doesn't matter either. And they have Weldon back. When they had Weldon, they crushed COG in 29 minutes. He has been out contracting with other teams. Their mentality has been what's crushing them. Their communication has been inferior. But with Weldon, a lot of that gets fixed, and they can use those CS differentials to get victory.
I don't know. They have a lot more pressure on them trying to live up to the TSM legacy of winning.
Have you heard him talk? You
They
use
could
the
crack
pressure.
in a best of 5.
Doublelift used the pressure. He made it all the way to the finals last year.
Weldon's back. The magic.
Weldon's back. The magic. Do you believe in miracles? Anyway, that's that team.
Oh, you want me to go again?
We have to go
first
to
again?
the next team. Well, we actually decided before this who was going to pick which team.
We did.
Kobe was like, I want to choose both favorites. So you get to go for Team Liquid. I will go for Energy. You get the higher seed. You ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, Team Liquid.
Now, this matchup, also, there's a huge advantage for my team in the early game because Energy, they have the second worst early game of any team in the North American LCS. And I think that Team Liquid can take that early game and ride that to victory in the best of 5 specifically. I think that Loco Doco is one of the most underrated coaches in the North American LCS this year. And he should be able to set up a team comp just structured around playing to their win conditions around Piglet in the bottom lane, who has been a huge carry for Team Liquid. They don't have to play around Phoenix. I know you're going to bring up Gank by Mom and his pocket picks. Pocket picks, keep him in your pocket. That's so
but
fast.
His pockets are so deep, man. All right, I'm ready. This is easy. Count me in.
Okay,
Energy.
3, 2, 1, go.
GBM has an awesome champion pool. It's going to work. You had that in your segment of why they're going to win a game, and then they won a game. Anyway, they do have poor gold early game, but the fact that they've been able to manufacture 9 wins speaks to a large degree of teamwork and a lot of playmaking.
And Baron
they do not choke on stage. Whereas Team Liquid, everyone keeps talking about how good they are in scrims, but they were a 6th place team for most of the split. So yes, statistically, they have a lot of advantages there, but they have 3 rookies on that roster. They do not have the experience of Impact, who's a world champion, and GBM, who's been a veteran for a while.
You know who they also have? Is Moon on Energy, who is also
that wasn't
a
part
rookie.
of my environment.
And the other thing is that pocket picks for GBM, Phoenix plays the meta picks. What's better, pocket picks or Azir and Corki, most popular mid-range?
We're not arguing anymore. We're done. Anyway, you've heard what we have had to say. Hit us up with who you think is right. Tweet
Kobe win.
at LOL Esports. Use JatWin if you believe in debate and honorability between men.
I think I debated pretty well.
I had to argue for the underdog, so obviously it was harder. If you also vote for Kobe win, do favorites. A lot of salt in North America as usual. Kobe win if you like favorites and stuff. Anyway, that'll do it for Death Timers.
Welcome to Berlin and the very serious part of PTL where we are in Europe, of course. I'm Deficio, and I'm joined by someone I'm not totally sure. Who is it again? It's Sharks. Definitely not scripted or acted at all. We obviously had a bet going on, and as you can see, once she manages to take off her face, we both kind of lost. Sharks, what happened?
Well, we had to say who we thought would be in the standings at the end of the regular season, and we were all wrong because we both thought H2K would be first, actually.
Yes.
But it was excuse me, but it was G2 that was first, and then I thought that OG would be fourth, and I actually got that correct.
Which was kind of random, but yes, it did happen.
No, I had I had knowledge of the scene, so I knew it was going to happen. And then I said Splice 7th, you said Element, so you were actually right in that one.
Yes, but obviously we were not correct, therefore we had a punishment. Sadly, we each had to pick an outfit. Mine was pretty easy because
we had this anyway.
My outfit, on the other hand,
I wanted you to dress up as a pulsar. I guess it's some kind of a sausage.
High quality outfit, by the way. I kind of regret our bet a little bit, but let's move on.
Okay, anyway, on a serious note, let's talk about the quarterfinals, obviously. First up will be Fnatic versus Vitality, and it seems, and that is so weird to say that it's a bit of a David versus Goliath, but because Fnatic has not been showing up strong after IEM, and Vitality has been tipped by a lot of our pro players as well as the ones that could win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the first time in many years I feel like Fnatic comes into playoffs not being favorites to make it all the way. And that's just how it is with this Fnatic lineup. Obviously had a terrible last week, lost both the games, therefore they are number 6, and I was sadly wrong in my bet, and that's why I'm wearing this outfit today. Vitality, on the other hand, they've been looking as the 3rd best team. I would probably even say you could argue maybe among the top 2 teams, but obviously lost a few games along the way. Coming into this, they will be heavy favorites, and also in the mid lane, we have a very interesting matchup, of course, in Nuke Dog and Febiven. where I personally think Nuke Dog has been a better player, but obviously there's a lot of people who still values Febiven very highly.
I think if Febiven is on the top of his game, he is probably better, but we just haven't seen that through the split as much as he was dominating last split around. Also, Vitality, the way they handle picks and bans with their coach Sean's and the depth of their champion pools, they have so many tools going into these playoffs that I actually have to agree with the people that say that they will make it to the finals most likely.
Yeah, and the question is just, is it going to be 3-0? Is it maybe going to be closer? I think Fnatic has to surprise us because they showed that one play style. You know, these specific picks with the Jhin, with the Lee Sin, with the Corki. It worked at IEM, it worked a few weeks after, but now we're back down to
Maybe
earth,
we'll be
honestly.
wrong, of course, like we usually are, but we will see what happens.
Vitality will be favorites.
Well, let's hope for a 5-gamer in anyway. And then we have Origin versus the Unicorns of Love. Now, Origin, they played with Peke in the last week. They secured 4th place out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
Big surprise to you, not that much to me.
Of course,
And they were going up against the Unicorns of Love, who actually booked 5th because Fnatic was all the way in 6th.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a strange matchup because I think these are two teams coming into the quarterfinals who have looked a lot weaker than the top teams. Obviously, the same can be said for Fnatic, honestly, but they were trending upwards, and then we had like the last week, obviously going completely wrong. But Origin is also depending on who's playing. Because when Power Weevil is playing, the team doesn't work. Like, everything falls apart. He might be slightly better mechanically. I think you can even argue that right now because Peck actually looked very solid when he was playing.
I think the person in terms of mechanical still doesn't make that much of a difference.
No, I agree. It's a team game right now. It's not about individual players winning the games for you. And Peke offers more shot calling. He's a leader for this team. So if they play Peke, I think Origin will take it. If they don't play Peke, however, Unicorns of Love will take it.
And a big factor in that could be Steelback. I love the story of this guy coming into this split. Obviously, he had that stint on Fnatic, and people were saying, oh, you know, he was the worst player there, and he wasn't so good, and he has so improved incredibly. He has the most kills in the entirety of the EULCS, and he just brings so much to that team. And he's up versus Sven and Mithy, who, if the rest of Origin is having a bad day, Steelback could have a really big influence.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's been a big carry for this team, especially in team fights where Sven and Mithy has been a very strong dual lane as always. And I think a lot of people not disrespected Sven. You know, when it came to the award show, we had obviously picking the top 80 carries. A lot of people forgot about him.
Don't bring that up.
I know, it's a scary one, but he's still, in my opinion, one of the top 80 carries we have. He's up there with Forgiven, and if he's able to perform with Mithy, of course, in the bottom lane, Origin has the advantage there, even though Steelback has been playing so well. But Unicorns of Love works better as a team.
Yeah.
So it's super close. Who's winning?
For UOL versus OG, I'm going to say Origin.
How many games?
I'm going to stick to my gun. 5, though. It's going to be 5, and it's going to be chaos, I think.
Yeah, pick Origin, otherwise Unicorns.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see on Saturday and Sunday, and we will see you then.
Now, it is my pleasure to welcome the Immortals coach, Dylan, to the Primetime League set. Dylan, thank you for joining me here today.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you. And also, it is my privilege to present you with the Best Coach of the Split Award for the 2016 Spring Split. Congratulations. A bit heavy, be careful. But Immortals had an amazing split, an almost immaculate run on the way to the playoffs now. And I have a few questions for you before I let you head off and hang out with your new trophy and reign over. When you joined up with the Immortals this year, I have to ask you, what was your goal for the team overall?
I came along with Immortals before we had our full roster formed. So before, I just wanted a team that could compete at the top levels at NA. The second I knew what our full roster was, I knew we were capable of winning the entire thing. So as soon as I knew the full team, it became like a kind of first place or nothing attitude.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
With the team and how smooth everything went, I have to ask you, what has been the most difficult part of kind of coaching this almost perfect team?
Like, I know from like the outside, it seems like it's been an easy split. We've been first nearly the entire time, but honestly, it's been like a lot of work through the entire split. And it's not just work done by me. We have like 3 members of our coaching staff, like me as the head coach, Robert Yip, our performance coach, and Dodo, our player manager. So I think like the hardest part is probably just all 3 of us staying consistent throughout the entire like pretty long season, and I guess going to playoffs as well.
And a follow-up on that, the consistency for the players, is it kind of hard for a team winning that much to keep that winning mentality? Did you find any struggle there?
I don't think so, because we're all like really motivated. The guys all have really great attitudes, and our staff kind of tries to stay positive and stay consistent as our #1 priority. So at least thus far, it hasn't been an issue.
Perfect. It really showed throughout the entire split. Dylan, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations once again on the best coach of the Spring Split. Now, if you want to watch Dylan and his Immortals continue their quest for the Spring Split Championship, they'll take the LCS stage next Sunday, April 10th.
Hey everyone, it is Jat here with Jat's Stats. And today I'm going to be talking about Cloud9 and the split that was. So coming into the split, there was a ton of hype around this team. They closed out 2015 well with the trip to Worlds, and then they added the 2015 Summer Split MVP to their roster with Rush. And I think it's fair to say they delivered on a lot of that hype. So let's dive into the stats and see how they did. As you can see, Cloud9 sits at 12-6 as an overall record and has been relatively consistent throughout the split with the 6-3 mark in each half. Additionally, they have the best record versus playoff teams of anyone in the quarterfinals, and they took care of business against the bottom of the league. So from here, I want to transition to team strengths and weaknesses. Cloud9 plays fast games, the third fastest actually. They have an average game time of 33 minutes and 19 seconds. They also fight often. CKPM stands for combined kills per minute, which is a mark of how bloody a game is. And at 0.78, Cloud9 has the second bloodiest games in the NALCS, with Immortals ranking #1. Cloud9 also has an extremely strong early game, averaging a plus 1,371 gold lead by the 15-minute mark, enough for second best in the league. And on top of maintaining a strong average gold lead, they also control early dragons well, which is impressive because first dragon is often an early game sacrifice, so they're having their cake and eating it too. That's not to say Cloud9 is perfect though. They play fast, but reckless. They have the lowest wards per minute as well as the lowest wards killed per minute in all of the NALCS. And I think that really speaks to their fast and reckless style. But now let's look at some player stats. Jensen finally lived up to the hype this year and finished second place in MVP voting. 81 kills and 676 damage per minute both rank him tops in the mid lane role. And while his CS difference isn't #1, I think it's for a good reason. Jensen often leaves lane to set up plays and get kills in other lanes, and a plus 3.1 CS differential is still positive and pretty good. Balls is a little bit more interesting, however. He has a CS difference that ranks him second amongst all top laners in NA, yet his damage stats rank him towards the bottom of NA top laners. And I think what this indicates is that Cloud9 use balls as a wave management and distraction tool. He's usually ahead early game and is often drawing attention to his lane, while the rest of his team is fighting, which explains some of these stats. It mainly explains also how he dies less than other top laners relative to his team, and that explains his damage as well. The final thing I want to touch on, though, is champion pools. Balls has played more champions in the top lane role than any other NA player with 11. Jensen also shows massive champion variety. In his case, he's one of only 2 mid starters to have no more than 3 games on a single champion. Hai also deserves mention because his 9 Morgana games have led to 9 victories, but he also ties Adrian for smallest support champion pool amongst starters with 4. And what these champion pools show me is that Cloud9 are most likely to early pick or power pick AD, support, and jungle, and then they round out their composition with diverse mid and top lane choices. It's not a new champ select strategy by any means to counterpick your solo lanes, but Cloud9 has committed fairly heavily to that champ select style this whole split, and it's paid off quite well. That'll do it for Cloud9 though, but if you want more Jat stats, head over to youtube.com/LOLesports and check out segments on all the other NA quarterfinal teams playing this weekend: Energy, Team Liquid, and TSM. See you there.
Well, we are on the subject of the North American LCS Spring Split quarterfinals. It's perfect time to see how well you know the pro. This week, we zoomed in on the lips that make the best shot calls in the game, or at least in North America. If you guess those lips belong to Cloud9's support Hai, then congratulations and great shot calling by you. And speaking of shots, Hai and Cloud9 will be taking a shot at their 3rd North American Championship starting this weekend. Hai is currently tied for 13th on the all-time postseason games played list, a little ways behind the North American leaders Wild Turtle and Dyrus, whose large totals are thanks to 6 straight trips to the North American LCS Championship game, while Cloud9 missed the playoffs last summer. You'll see Hai get up to at least his 30th playoff game on Saturday when his Clouds take on their nemesis TSM in the first round of the Spring Split playoffs. While we get set for an awesome week of LCS playoff matches, let's stop for a moment and appreciate all the awesome and anomalies that happened last week in the LPL, LMS, and LCK. And now one here. There's Freak. Wow, that's great. Let's start with the awesome, where last week in Korea, the Babe Ruth, Pele, and Michael Jordan of League celebrated his 3rd anniversary in the pros.
Yeah, and that is glorious, glorious Faker, Playmaker, including LCK regular season and playoffs. He has 859 kills, a 72% win ratio. He's made the LCK playoffs every single year. He's won Worlds twice, which is no longer LCK. Well, maybe it is if you count the recent victors. Happy anniversary, Faker, overall. One of the best players to ever play League, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, from the awesome, let's move on to the anomalies, as we said. Last week, the Chaogu Reapers lost more LPL matches in 3 days than they had all spring. And because of those defeats for the first time all year, they no longer have the best record in China. On the flip side of that, about a month ago, LGD looked dead in the water. But last week, they took out first place Chaogu and not close to first place Energy Pacemakers, as Marin and crew put together their 2nd straight perfect week. What is going on?
I don't know, but it's LGD back in form, which means it's time to have false hope and time for MSI. Meanwhile, in the final week of the LMS, AHQ lost more LMS games in 3 days than they had in the last 8 months. Now, to be fair, they did start playing subs. They were guaranteed first place, so RD played instead of on AD carry. They played Chaoui both games instead of putting in West Door than they normally do. Also, in one of the West Door games that he did play, that one game he played Talon, which I don't think is that great in competitive, more so than solo queue. So you can take these losses with a grain of salt. Honestly, I don't think they were trying that hard for HQ overall. So while HQ, okay, yeah, sure, they lost a couple of games. The last place Cougars actually got a win. So suddenly, now the reverse Fnatic is no longer possible. Cougars are only reverse Immortals with a single game win. I mean, they're still going to be in the promo tournament, right? These guys are still the last place team, but at least they won a game.
They did. And while the Cougars' first win didn't really affect the LMS postseason picture, HQ's losses did, even though it didn't affect HQ themselves at all. HQ locked in the top seed, while the Flash Wolves earned the number 2. TPA secured the number 3 spot thanks to an upset sweep of the Wolves. And while that alone would have been an intense final week of the split, the wildest race in the LMS was for 4th place.
Yep, Machi had a wild week. They tied AHQ and tied TPA. Then they beat Hong Kong Esports in a 1-game tiebreaker for the final playoff seed. So that happened. It was, what a great end of the season. Good by them to get some wins that you wouldn't expect from them. But that's awesome. And that means the postseason for these guys starts April 15th. And that's when the LMS playoffs begin.
And we'll see. While the LMS finished up their regular spring split last week, the LPL and LCK still have 2 weeks to go. There's so much action around the globe. Yep. And earlier this morning, KT Rolster handed the Rocks Tigers only their 2nd loss of the spring split. It was a damn good game.
Yeah, 2nd loss as far as matches are concerned. So 2nd BOF these guys have lost in the spring split. And it was a great series overall. 2-1 the scoreline. Super interesting. The top laners were battling back and forth. Smeb and Someday. I mean, these were the big top laners from Worlds last year, if you didn't count Marin. They're still battling it out in Korea. They're super, super good. Smeb got a top lane Kennen win. Riv, congratulations.
Notes, top laners.
But also KT's mid laner Fly. He's been kind of an underrated player or an underperforming player, but his Azir in game 1 was awesome, and his Malzahar mid game 3 is the one that actually won the whole series. So take notes, maybe?
As back in Season 1, Freak, percentage damage always does damage in percentages. That is correct. Thanks to that top lane Kennen and Longshu's sweep of Samsung as of Wednesday at 5:26-ish California time, the standings look a little bit like this. Even though they lost, the Rocks Tigers still have a lock on the top seed in the playoffs. But KT has now rolled ahead of Jin Air in the standings based on game differential.
That's pretty impressive to look at. Now, this LCK split is honestly super competitive, super interesting, and it's just been awesome. There's so many teams still battling. 7 teams are alive in the race for playoff spots. There's 4 still up for grabs that haven't been locked down, so 3 are going to be sad they didn't make it. The final 2 weeks are going to be hugely interesting.
It's going to be a grind. One LCK team, got it, that's making a strong playoff run is the Afrika Freaks. The Freaks have gone 6-1 over their last 7 games, the best record in the LCK during that time period, including wins over SKT, KT, Rolster, and Samsung. And this week they face both third-place Jin Air and first-place Rox Tigers. By Sunday, we'll know if the Freaks' playoff dreams are for real.
So whether the David Turleys make the playoffs or not, one player who's really good but is yet to be a household name is Freaks top laner Ixu. Yeah, I know, but this guy's come out of kind of nowhere. He's a very aggressive player. He does actually get a lot of gold share overall, so he's not the one sort of hard carrying, but he's the guy doing cool things. He is the only top lane Gragas player in the LCK. He's played it 5 times with a 9.6 KDA, 11 unique champions counting that Gragas, second most assists for top laners, second in MVP points. This guy is actually doing a ton of work for this team. He's not super popular right now, but you might get used to hearing his name pretty soon.
See, if it's one of those players at Worlds, then maybe Gragas becomes a thing. Like when Faker brings a player out or somebody brings something out at Worlds, it just becomes a thing. Ixu could be that
Maybe
guy.
We'll see the Gragas.
And on Tuesday, we tested the Twitter waters to see who you think is the best top laner in the game right now, and there were a lot of all caps level arguments being made. While the vote went in Smeb's favor, there were a lot of Huni fans, plus a good amount of tweet-in votes for others like Sunday, Trace, and Marn, respectively.
And maybe even add Ixu to the list as well. There's honestly a lot of really, really great top laners out there, and the thing is, it depends on like what you grade is important. Are they winning lane? Do they shot go for the team like Marin did back with SKT? Like, is their champion pool better? Can they be banned out? There's a lot of ways you can grade players.
Are they playing Cannon?
Right, yeah, so automatically Smeb is the best top laner in the world because Rivington said so, and that's also a valid argument, right? So I'm going to respectfully say it could be any of them. I think it comes down to seeing them head-to-head at bigger tournaments, and when you are playing back-to-back with more time to research, who comes out on top.
Right, this consistency.
Yeah.
So, while Ixu and the Afrika Freaks look to stay freaky over in the final 2 weeks of the LCK Spring Split, the LPL looks like it's headed to a freaking repeat of the last couple splits. But first, the standings. Check these out before we go on. Despite dropping 2 matches, Chaogu have locked in their post-season berth, as have Team WE. But that's not the freaky part. Where it gets weird is LGD, who have won 4 matches in a row now, are currently in 4th place and ready to make another run into the LPL finals. Pretty crazy. Martin and friends went from a 1-7 start to the spring split to smashing the Reapers in 2 straight games. What has changed? Like, how?
The team is finally working. I mean, that's the thing. Like, LGD was supposed to be good in the first place. They have one of the best shot callers in all of China in PYL. This guy is actually amazing. And they have some of the best players to ever play League of Legends. LGD has shelled out for a roster multiple years in a row now.
Yeah.
As long as the team is actually coordinated, this is going to be a good team. Like, this is the team that TSM was like hoping to turn into finally. Is like, get a good roster, make it all work in the end. Okay, yeah, they've been going kind of back and forth with junglers, trying to find out who's going to be best. Aimi, was good with Gragas. Okay, he was huge against QG. He's starting to help free up Marn as well. This is starting to work a little bit. Marn's not getting wrecked as hard with jungle ganks as well, so he's finally getting comfortable, getting into a spot where he's going to start doing okay. He's having a better season as well. And so, finally, the actual pieces of the team are functioning, and you've got actually now all of the gears turning. Yeah, okay, sure, there are still problems. This is not a perfect team.
Right.
No team really ever is, unless you're like 2014 Samsung White, but that's it. So,
at least they're sort of catching each other in the trust fall, right? You're not just falling over.
They just beat one of the top teams in China. It's working. LGD have the skill and the shot calling and the talent, so it's just a matter of getting them on the same page, and that's starting to get sort of written out properly.
Well, LGD keeps themselves busy climbing up the Group A standings. The Group B standings shake out a little bit like this. Royal Never Give Up have still not given up their hold on first place, while Edward Gaming is solidly in second.
A little farther down is the race for the final couple of playoff spots. OMG, Invictus, Vici are all within 2 matches of each other. There's only 2 postseason spots available. Top 4 make it into that postseason, so that's a very tight fight.
It's going to be a fight. Well, the fight for the final spot will be intense. This week, it's the Tangle at the top of the table. That's our BF match of the week. That means as Royal Never Give Up looks to lock down the #1 seed in Group B with a win over Edward Gaming. RNG currently owns the head-to-head tiebreaker, and a sweep of EDG will guarantee them the top spot in the bracket. Both teams come into the battle playing some of their best League of the Spring Split yet. Edward Gaming has won 4 matches in a row, while Royal has won 6 straight.
Yeah, and these are, of course, very, very strong teams. The teams you expect to see going deep into the playoffs. QG have shown some vulnerability, sure, but they are like one of the heavy favorites to represent China at MSI. This is a strong team overall. And the matchup I want to look at the most, honestly, is the two junglers. Clearlove on Edward Gaming is world famous. He is probably the most popular player in China at this point. I mean, maybe it's still Uzi, but this guy is obscenely good. He was considered the best jungler in the world for like 2 years running practically. Like, he is amazing. He's the leader of EDG. He's done so much. His champion pool's quite wide. Is a lot of really good things. Good participation above 70% as well. Yeah. MLXG though, huge rising star, and some of his stats actually could be better than Clearlove. Kill participation, kill share. He's actually the one doing so much of the heavy lifting. Doesn't play as many champions, but he's been super, super strong overall. And so it is the sort of reigning god of jungle in China against kind of the newcomer who has been leading the team to arguably the #1 spot. And, can he bring this team to really, stay in #1 by beating Edward Gaming?
We mark it the BF Match of the Week for a reason. Yeah. Make sure you watch. It's going to be good. But before you tab over to set your calendars for the BF Match of the Week, make sure you keep one of those tabs on PTL as we count down the top 5 plays from last week of Pro Play, or as RNG's Name and Samsung's Crown can now call it, the Penta. Coming in at number 5, TPA's Fofo made 4 members of the Flash Wolves disappear.
全残了，这边全残的情况下，博比进场，被炸出来啊，但没有炸出来，很可惜哦。全拉起来的情况下，佛佛闪现，佛佛去直接收3个，哇，900块杀了3个人头，这时间算得太漂亮了吧？对，这一边，这一边，再杀4个，这边 refrain 大绝技算的时机还行，先把对面的大 B 了，绑900块，哇，这个 A 伤害赚，太猛了，对啊。
At number 4, it was 5 kills for Samsung's Crown.
두 명 핵심 딜러 둘 전사 쉽지 않은 경기였습니다. 어려운 경기였는데 결국 삼성이 이 경기를 잡네. 전멸. 트리플 배. 트리플 인가요? 일로 와. K.
From the League of Legends Japan League Challenger Series, it was Scar's day 1 with a 3v5 quadra kill in our number 3 play of the week.
前に出て AOE ダメージがいい形で入っている。これはもしかして逆転できるのか。ニベルゲーミング前に出ている。フレアがしっかりとタンクをしてアイバンが前に出たところ、デイワンがダメージを出しているが生き延びた。あと1発。フラッシュインからクワドラキルを取っていったのはデイワン。
At number 2, the Afrika Freaks Mickey had a score to settle in this 1v1.
Oh, going in onto Mickey here. Fly taking a bit of damage. Mickey's going to go ahead and try to pop away. They root him in. Oh, the wildcard's almost taking down the Lissandra, and Score getting locked up, has to flash in to try to catch the Twisted Fate. One more hit ought to do it, but the gold card is drawn. And Score just trying to wait it out to get onto him. There's no one here to back him up. He throws out the gold card. Baron Powder Minions doing a lot of damage. Score still does have that Lamb's Respite available, though. Nice Sonya's coming across. The minions chipping him down. Lamb's Respite comes down. It's going to be a battle of who gets the first hit. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Mickey coming out on top.
And at number 1, it was lights out for VG Gaming as RNG's Name picked up the game-winning pentakill.
Long slays Looper, and Xiaohu just can't do anything, but he's going to lock up Mata Easyhoon, getting out by Name. Name actually gets himself a double kill, as now Danny's going to come over Name. He flashes over the side, he's trying to go in onto Caveman, still kiting away. Life steals there, Look goes down, Name gets a triple kill, and now Caveman caught out of position. There's the Quadra, there's the pentakill. Name saves his team.
Welcome back to the LPL, Name. I've missed you, boy.
Well, we could collect the top plays from around the world without your help. It's a lot less fun, because that means I have to do it with this guy. So please keep those nominees for the Penta coming our way. Send them at LOL Esports. Hashtag it the Penta as always. And remember, sharing is caring.